It's Tuesday, November 20th, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, we have Chief Sonnabend in the studio. We hit the links at Hyannis Golf Club for a late fall update and learn more about how the Town of Barnstable's Restaurant Guide can help get your business up and cooking. Let's start with some news you can use. Here's your chance to be part of determining what is needed to ensure a healthy future for Cape Cod. Every 3 years, Cape Cod Healthcare conducts research for a Community Health Needs Assessment Report and Implementation Plan. It's a chance for Cape Cod Healthcare to learn about the health and health needs of people living in Barnstable County. An online public survey is an important component of this research for the next report and is available through December 31st on their website, www.capecodhealth.org. A holiday miracle. Chief Sonnabend is in the studio with us and has holiday safety tips, reminders for alarm renewals, and has the date for the upcoming Stuff a Cruiser parade of cruisers and fire trucks. Well, it's a special holiday week, and look who we have in studio. Chief Sonnabend is here with us today.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. So, a special visit here to the studio.
Yep.
Folks don't get to see you except for that nice picture that we have for you, so welcome.
Well, it is a nice picture, but I figured I'd come on by and say hello.
Excellent.
Here I am.
Well, it's a busy week, obviously, with lots of things going on, kicking off the holiday season. So, let's talk a little bit about holiday safety.
Holiday safety, good tip for this year. A lot of people don't think about, Thanksgiving as being one of those holidays you have to be particularly safe on. But you want to remind everybody that in case you haven't seen it, there is a recall right now for some turkey items that are out there. Make sure you read up on that and that you are, safely cooking your turkey because you don't want anyone to get sick and ruin your holiday. But, it is the start of the Christmas season and everything, and people are going to be out driving around, going to parties here and there. And if you're out driving around, we know people like to have some wine and a couple of things at people's houses. But after a couple of visits to a couple of different places, you don't realize maybe you've had a little bit too much. So please curtail the drinking and driving. We really don't want to see anybody doing that. If you're going to be engaging in such activities, please get a designated driver and be safe. Because as you know, there is going to be also be an increase of just general people out on the roads. The travel season really picks up, so there's going to be a lot more volume on the roadways. Let's everybody be safe.
Everybody be safe. Really good tips. No drinking and driving.
No.
And the other thing is that there's some early morning things at the malls and stuff like that. Those parking lots are not always lit up. So
no, they are not. You got Black Friday coming on. You got all these holiday sales events and everything that are going on this time of year. You want to be careful. Like you said, some of these timers in these larger parking lots or some of these lights are on timers, so they don't necessarily come on when they're that early in the morning. So be careful while you're out there shopping. It's because everyone's out there buying stuff and buying treats and presents for everybody. That means there's an increase in criminal activity. They're looking to take what you've earned and purchased. So make sure you're locking your vehicle and maybe putting the stuff in a trunk or somewhere else that isn't as readily obvious as you've got goodies in the car that somebody can easily get to by smashing a window or something. Make sure make note, especially in some of these larger parking areas, where you did park. So you come back out, you don't think your car has been taken, and you go back and you're able to find it safely. And if you are out late hours of the day, bring a little flashlight or something to help get yourself back and forth safely. Because again, colder weather, ice, and other things are on these parking lots early in the morning. You don't want to trip and slip and fall.
yeah, and somebody I just heard online the other day was to have Amazon deliver to your back door, not your front door.
I hadn't heard that one yet, but if you are going to be having deliveries and whatnot, if you have a trusted companion or a friend or a neighbor to keep an eye out for your deliveries, make sure they get brought in or put somewhere safe, because this is the time of year you start seeing some of those thefts where people come by and it's a target of opportunity. There's a package sitting out there. Everyone's at work, so I'll come by and pick it up. Some people have gone and gotten those fancy doorbells that they can see different things on, but it's an idea.
Right.
It's up to you, but there are some simple things you can do to be safe. And as you're doing some of these online purchases, make sure you are going to a legitimate online purchase source and that you're not giving your credit card information to a bad thing. You see a rise in cybercrime this time of year, people identity theft and things, going through alternate portals and stuff, ordering things because they're saving $1.99, going to an alternate site, and maybe not as safe or as secure as going through a legitimate purchaser.
Right. And before we leave holiday safety, we do want to just touch upon train safety. We do have tracks that run through the town of Barnstable. Let's stay off of them.
I got to mention this. The events in Wareham over the weekend, unfortunate and tragic, to bring to mind that, the trains are out there. They are on the tracks, and you got to be careful. Stay off the tracks. Don't try and race the train or get around signals. Most of our signals around this part of the country are guarded, and the guards come down. Heed them. Be safe. There's no need to be trying to run in front of a train. The train will go by. They're not that big around here. You'll go by. They'll go by, and they'll be gone in a couple minutes, and you can continue on your way. But please let your kids know, don't be playing on the train tracks, because you never know, especially when they put those MP3s and Walkmans in their in their ears and headphones on, not paying any attention. Stay off the tracks.
Right. And just a quick reminder for folks, the alarm registration renewals are out there. Somebody asked me why a residential home has to register their alarm. Why do people register their alarms?
Because it encourages the alarm companies to fix problems. In the past, we used to get lots and lots and lots of false alarms, and it was draining resources on the police department to go out every time and check these alarms that were all over town. They were coming in false, and there was really no impetus to make sure that they weren't. So when we started implementing some of these fees that get the alarm companies and people who have these alarms to repair them, so they're not being false as often, right. And saves our resources and having to go to all these false alarm calls.
Right, and this is the 31st, I think, is the deadline to
Correct.
renew. Okay,
yes.
Excellent. And now we can talk about my most favorite day of the year.
Christmas.
Christmas. Well, it's the Toys for Tots.
Yep.
The law enforcement and fire across the Cape come together. They stuff cruisers and fire trucks, and they...
Buses, yep.
Buses, and down Route 132 they come.
Yes, they do. The Toys for Tots drive is going on right now. I'm sure you've heard different advertisements and whatnot. Different police departments, including ours, fire departments all around town, are collecting points, getting some new unwrapped toys and gifts for the appropriate age children and put inside those bins and collect them. And on December 9th is the parade that you were talking about, where all the cruisers and fire trucks and the bus come down Route 132. They're going to be starting off from Cape Cod Community College at 1 o'clock on December 9th. That's a Sunday. Coming right down Route 132 to the Kmart Plaza. They used to go to Toys R Us, but unfortunately Toys R Us is no longer with us. So there'll be Kmart Plaza this year, and we'll be setting up there.
Excellent. That'll be a lot of fun.
It will be. It always is.
Excellent. Well, you're going to have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your holidays.
Thank you. Director of Golf, Bruce McIntyre, says there is still plenty of golf left in the season and reminds us that the Pro Shop stock all those items on your favorite golfer's wish list. There is still some golf to play. I'm here with Bruce McIntyre, Superintendent for Barnstable Golf Courses. Bruce, it did snow, but it's gone already.
It's gone already. It's a little soggy out there, but it's gone already.
It's gone
Really
already.
Snow. We'll take it.
So we're, November, December, there's still some golf to be had, but there's also other things here at the golf courses that people really should be aware of.
Well, no doubt. I mean, weather pending, Hyannis is going to stay open all winter long, so you can still come on down and play golf anytime. But at this time of year, outside of playing golf, people have to start thinking about the golfers in their world and where to find them a nice Christmas gift or a gift card or whatever. And we have 2 fully stocked pro shops with pretty much everything golf. Stop by the pro shop, get a gift card, pick up a gift. Lots of great fall merchandise. The other thing is you can purchase a gift card online at our website, which is new, by the way, and it's barnstable.golf.
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 I did take a look at it.
Yeah,
it's really nice. You get your tee times. You can get your tee times there.
It's easy. It's still a work in progress. We weren't going to unveil it until the beginning of the year, but I won't go into all those fun reasons why we had to do it, but nevertheless, it's going to be a real good thing. So, yeah, you can call the golf shops. We're open from 7 to 4:30, 7 days a week at this point. The only days that the golf course would be closed is Christmas Day. Believe it or not, we actually have a couple of staff members that come in Thanksgiving morning for people that want to get out and play a quick 9 before they go sit down with their family for the rest of the day. So we're open, we're here. Once the course is drained down, we're back at it.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, so Hyannis stays open year round. What about Old Barney?
Old Barnstable closes for the season usually in the third week of December. This year, closing day is going to be December 19th. It's a Wednesday. You know, one message to all of our pass holders out there, with all the different tournaments and events that people participate in over the year, they earn credit, and we have credit books, and so they earn credit to be able to come into the pro shop and get what they want. But credit books have to be used by December 31st. So we urge people, we've got a lot of money in there on credit, to come on in, use up your credit, purchase some gifts, and maybe get that pair of shoes or the rain gear you were looking for with the money you made this year. So, you know, it's all good.
All right.
It's all good.
And we may have some fee changes as well.
Yeah, there was a fee proposal. That it does include some rate increases. There was a public hearing last Thursday on November 8th. The town manager's taking it all into consideration. We haven't received any final word on what the 2019 rates will be, but there are some increases in there. I don't want to scare people, but the cost of maintaining the golf courses, and it's not just Barnstable Golf. It's the cost of maintaining and keeping up the golf courses is just getting more expensive all the time. So, we do our best.
Well, let's talk just a little bit about, you know, because I have a golfer in my life, and, you know, if I was to look for some kind of stocking stuffers, what would you recommend?
Oh, boy, for stocking stuffers, I mean,
how about this nice hat with the Barnstable?
Dozens of hats. You know, a rangefinder fits really nice in a stocking, too. They're a little bit more on the pricey end, but I mean, depending on what they like. I mean, whether it's a dozen balls or a couple of sleeves of balls or some, you know, ball mark repair tools. You know, you can go beyond the golf stuff and get into just the more interesting things, whether it be a glass or a mug or whatever. We have everything. You know, whether it's actually a merchandise item, clothing, special orders don't upset us. I mean, if you come in and talk to the pros, if we don't have it, they'll order it for you. And you know, usually it's a very quick turnaround. So sunglasses fit good in stockings too.
Sunglasses, right? It's interesting for a lot of the folks that are out there. You know, we talk every year about this, but memberships are really, just break down a few of those memberships that are available in case, you know, you got some of those folks that are like, you know, I love them dearly.
As soon as the rates and fees are approved, obviously, we'll have all of the new ones out there, but there are several categories. Obviously, we have resident categories and non-resident categories. We have resident adult. We have a second family member, which is a slight discount, so a husband-wife type of a deal. We have a super senior adult. We have a young adult, which is under 30. We have a student adult, which is 22 and under, and we have junior golfers, which is from 12 through the point in time that they're off to college. Rates and fees change. Obviously, the prices are very different. Non-resident categories are pretty much the same across the board. So, you know, depending on your age and depending on how much golf you play, you know, you can find yourself a good deal across the board in any one of those categories. On the other hand, as a resident of the town of Barnstable who's not an annual pass holder, for the rest of the year, actually till next, I want to say, probably March 1st or so, it's $25 to play here at Hyannis. And it's, you know, it's $25 for the resident, it's $35 for the public, and at Old Barnstable right now it's $40 for the public and the same $25 for the residents until closing. So, and at that point, golf isn't that expensive. So for $25, if you're a resident and you're not a pass holder, you can still come down and play golf.
Right. And I just want to mention, I noticed that a lot of folks on the golf committee are grandfathers, and they love that junior membership because it gives them time with the kids.
It's a great bargain. We don't have restrictions on when the juniors can play as much as some of the other facilities. So to be able to have 2 golf courses, playing almost as much as you'd like for $130 a year for a junior golfer is a bargain. Yeah. If you wanted to compare that to a week of summer camp or volleyball school or sailing or something like that, $130 is a pretty darn good deal.
Great deal.
We certainly want to make sure we keep the juniors coming in.
Right. Yeah. Anything else you want to add for folks?
Hopefully we have a decent winter this year. Last year we had a lot of snow, a lot of rain, and a lot of storms. Let's all cross our fingers, hope we get some decent weather. Mother Nature's kind to us, and as bad as it gets over the winter, you know, winters are short here. Spring is right around the corner, and just wish everybody happy holiday season, happy Thanksgiving, and you know, if you haven't played golf in a while, it's never too late to start.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Bruce.
Thank you very much.
Opening a new restaurant can be a daunting endeavor. The town of Barnstable wants to help you be successful in the myriad of details from licensing and permitting to passing your Board of Health inspections. We explore the new restaurant guide to get you ready to start cooking. Opening a business in the town of Barnstable can be a daunting project at the least. Opening a restaurant, so many I's, so many T's to dot and cross. With me today, Economic Development Specialist Mike Trovato with a brand new piece for restaurants that will actually make this process smoother and more informed so people can open their restaurants fairly quickly, not quickly, but at least easily in the town of Barnstable. This is a wonderful piece. So this guide is just released, right?
Yes, just released.
Just released. And why did you make it? Why did the town of Barnstable make opening a restaurant guide?
Sure. So the guide is a collaborative effort between multiple departments, the regulatory departments within the town, seeing a need to fill a need. Restaurants are much more daunting process to get open than most businesses because of all the regulations that are required to be overseen with them. And so the determination was made that it would be helpful to have a step-by-step guide to kind of help new restaurants through that process when they need to go and get permitted to open their business.
Okay, we're going to quantify this just a little bit. This would be somebody moving into an existing building that is either already been a restaurant or perhaps had been retrofitted for a restaurant, not necessarily complete in new construction.
It actually applies to all,
Okay.
but someone that's going to from A to Z with building a restaurant from scratch, it's got to be a more detailed process than ones that are going into an existing building that is specifically fit up for a restaurant, or even something that could be readily retrofitted without major renovation.
Okay, so let's talk about regulatory process and departments here. This is a collaborative effort. I mean, there's a whole lot of people involved in this process.
Absolutely. 7 different departments were involved in putting this guide together. Everything from the planning department, building, health, licensing, the fire department, water department, DPW, hope I didn't miss anyone, and the health department, we're all involved in this process.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the process and what this guide will help a new business do.
Sure. So the idea on the guide is to help someone that's coming in right from the beginning, hopefully can get them to go into a voluntary informal site plan review process where they can go into the room with all these different disciplines and talk to each of the departments about what their needs are going to be going forward, so that they can fully understand the scope of what's ahead of them. And the guide gives them that step-by-step process with that.
Okay, let's take some of these departments on their own here. So if you're the building department, what's in this guide that's going to help me?
Sure. So the building department deals with building permits, sign permits, all the building codes that are going to be required relative to opening a restaurant, handicap accessibility, ADA compliance, and plumbing and wiring, among other things.
Okay, that's a hefty list in one department already, right?
Sure. And by the way, they're on the final end of the process too. I might point out that in order to open any business, the final step is to get a certificate of occupancy, and that's done through the building commissioner.
Okay, health. We're all really concerned with making sure that we are in a restaurant that's passed inspections and things like that. So, what are some of the things in the guide that will help with the health department?
Sure. So the health department department deals with food licenses. They have to get a food license, a common victual license. I'm sorry, that's on the licensing side.
Right.
They weigh in on grease trap necessities. I'm sorry,
Right.
and all health code compliances.
Okay, and then licensing, here's another big one that seems to trip people up because they don't realize that they need specific things as they move through the process.
Sure. Food service establishments need a common victual license.
Right.
If you're doing entertainment, you'll need an entertainment license. If you're doing alcohol, you're going to need an alcohol license. So those are, if you're doing sidewalk dining on the town sidewalk, you'll need to get a sidewalk dining permit as well.
Okay, and planning and development, where do they fit into this process?
Sure. First and foremost, they help in zoning, whether that's an allowed use and where they want to locate. So they do the review on that to make sure. And also, if there is a need from any kind of a historic perspective, if they're in a historic district, planning department oversees the different historic boards as well. So for instance, if a restaurant's opening in downtown Hyannis, that's in the Hyannis Historic District. They would have to go in front of Hyannis Historic to get approvals for any facade changes or signage or even sidewalk dining kind of things.
Okay, that's interesting. And then water and fire departments, I thought this was kind of interesting. We're not talking just Hyannis, the rest of us, even in the mills eat. So we have restaurants too. But our water departments and our fire departments are a little bit fragmented. So let's talk about water department first. There's some considerations when you're opening up a restaurant for water departments.
Sure. So for water, obviously we need to make sure we have sufficient water supply for you. So each of the water departments, depending on which jurisdiction you're in, would check to make sure that you have adequate water flow for that restaurant itself. I'll step over into the fire next.
Sure.
And again, same thing, depending on the jurisdiction. We have 5 fire districts, so the applicable fire department would be represented in that regard. They could be working at everything from sprinkler needs, fire suppression in the kitchen, near the range, hood requirements for ventilation in that regard, emergency exits, the typical fire safety needs that you would be required for a restaurant for public safety.
Right. So one of the things that I noticed about this right off the bat is that they are phone numbers for every department listed right there for you to pick up the phone and talk to folks.
Sure. This is obviously a real handy guide to give
Right.
you all that information right at your fingertips. You'll know which department you need to speak to, who you need to speak to. If you do go through that informal process, you'll get a face-to-face with each department, applicable person in that department who you will then become your point of contact, or they'll assign someone to you, and you'll know exactly who you need to talk to going forward in that regard.
Right. So let's talk about this a little bit. There's a position out there that is a coordinator for these site plans, these mini site plan meetings that you're doing, these informal meetings. Talk about that position. Is that the person who holds your hand through this process?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Our site plan review coordinator is responsible for for the site plan review committee as administrative duties with the formal site plan review. So as part of that process, with our recommendation that even businesses, especially restaurants that don't need to go through formal site plan, they're welcome to have a meeting with the site plan review committee informally, in a conference room, to be able to talk all at once about what their needs are going to be. And by having this one person, in this case, Ellen Swiniarski does that work for us right now. And Ellen can help hold your hand through that process to help make sure you talk to all the right departments. Even if you don't sit down for that informal site plan review, she can at least direct you to who to talk to.
Right. And again, restaurants are so varied. You can make donuts. or you could make yogurt. I mean, they may have different things that they'll need through this regulatory process, you know, depending, it's not a sit down or it's a sit down. So there's so many things to consider. What do you want residents and business owners to know about this process and how to get one of these guides?
Sure, sure. Our advice is that you do take advantage of the opportunity to sit down in the room with all of our regulatory departments all at the same time. So you don't have to go one-on-one with them. It's going to save you a ton of time, but also make sure that you crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's. So what the guide is designed to do is to kind of help give you an overview of that process. It's not detailed. It's not designed to be an everything, you know, comprehensive guide. It really is a step-by-step guide to make sure you see all the proper people before you go and get your final certificate of occupancy. That's the bottom line, is once you've gone through all your processes, building commissioner will issue you a certificate of occupancy so you can open your business so we can enjoy your food.
Excellent. And where can we get these guides?
The guides will be available first and foremost online at our businessprinciple.com website. I believe it's also going to be on the town's website as well. But the hard copies will be available here at Town Hall, 367 Main Street, available at 200 Main Street, where the regulatory offices are. We're also going to be distributing through the Chambers of Commerce, Business Improvement District, the village business associations, and also the commercial business brokers. I think they're a good resource to get this information in on the early end, because they're usually representing the businesses on the front end that are looking to open a restaurant.
Right. And I have to tell you that it's a really nice piece. It's very easy to read. The infographic is incredibly helpful. It shows people kind of where they start and how they navigate through this process. Well done, Mike.
Well, thank you, Paul. I can't stress enough how much of a collaborative effort this was between departments. To see such an interdepartmental collaboration in this thing was just tremendous.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks.
Here's a look at the community calendar. There are so many holiday events coming up, too many to list here. Head on over to the Cape Cod Chamber's website, www.capecodchamber.org, for tree lightings, holiday village strolls, and more. Here's a look at the upcoming meetings for boards, commissions, and committees. Comments, suggestions, accolades? Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. Email us or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works for you. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.